All right, welcome everyone to another installment of Mind Your Own Business. If you have not been introduced to Dr. Erin before or attended one of our other sessions, let me do a quick introduction for her so we know that we kind of get a feel or an idea, an introduction to who we're listening to tonight. So, Dr. Erin Oksol is an award winning high performance mentor, psychologist, 7 times best selling author, and top global leader in a health and wellness company. Dr. Erin has taken the world by storm with her high energy events and science backed business coaching, working with companies including Microsoft and Facebook. She has been awarded Nevada's Professional Saleswoman of the Year and Nevada's Top 20 Most Powerful Women. Dr. Erin was named one of the 125 leaders globally to follow in 2022 by Success Magazine. She lives in Reno, Nevada with her husband, Garth, and their amazing 3 children. Take it away, honey.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone, again. I'm so happy you're here. Tonight, we're going to talk about something that I'm really passionate about, and that's money. And, people can be funny about money. And so we're going to talk about money mindset. And I have some really big intentions for this call tonight. One of those intentions is that if you haven't done so yet in your life, that because of this call, you will give yourself so much permission to what Kelly said, I love money, to feel like it's okay for you to have all that you desire, that your desires are valid, and that money is the root of all awesomeness. And that, I truly believe, and I hope that you will by the end too, to really understand that your higher power, God, as I call it, also desires all that you desire and wants to give, you a life of complete abundance. And so we are going to really look at our thinking about money, where we learned it, what we want to be thinking about money. And I hope that I really shift some things for you tonight, that you look back and say, that's when everything changed in my relationship with my money. Karen, she says, I'm in the right place. I have a mental block for sure. Whoever has, like, raise your hand. I mean, all of us, me included. So, all right, before we dive in, I wanted to share with you all of my past trainings. It's at this link here. So if you want to just take a screenshot of that, that might be the easiest way. It's a link tree, Dr. Erin Oksol free. Those are where all of the past Mind Your Own Business trainings are. And then again, to tag me into entering the raffle, you'll tag me at Dr. Erin Oksol on your social media posts. Okay. All right. Please open the chat if you can, and if you can participate in the chat, that will be wonderful. But I want you to repeat after me to yourself. You might even want to say it out loud. I was born worthy and nothing has changed. You can say it with me. I was born worthy and nothing has changed. This is the foundation of what we're going to be talking about tonight. This was a masterclass that I did in 2023. It's one of the masterclasses I'm most proud of, and it was called Worthy. And it was this idea that when you learn to dissociate your worth from your wallet, everything changes. And for many of us, the suffering that we experience around money is tied to our worthiness on the planet. And so if we can dissociate those, you will become free indeed. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you tonight, of how to dissociate your worth from your wallet. Okay, here's what I believe. I believe you are worthy of all that you desire. And somewhere along the way, we forgot or we learned otherwise, didn't we? I am here to help you remember. This masterclass is a remembering to claim what was always yours. This is the most simple and impactful way that I can set up this idea that we were all born worthy of everything we desire. So I want you to imagine going to the hospital in the labor and delivery section of the hospital department and the looking in the nursery with your big eyes, and you put your head up to the glass, and you're looking at all the fresh, brand new babies, and they're all lying in the nursery. They're all in their little nursery um, baskets or whatever. Would you not agree? When you looked at all of those babies, you would agree that every single one of them was born worthy of everything they desire, that it's their birthright. Please say yes if you believe that and if you agree with that, right? It just makes sense when I put it like that. Imagine your children, your grandchildren, your friends, imagine you as a brand new, fresh little baby that's just born. We would never look at one of the babies and be like, I don't know about this one. I don't know. I don't know if this one gets to go to Fiji. I don't know. I mean, maybe one trip, but certainly not 10. I don't know. We're going to have to cap their income at a certain level. Like, it's preposterous, isn't it? And so somewhere along the line, if we do not in our bones know that we are that little baby, that we are worthy of everything we desire, then it's just faulty learning that we've picked up along the way. And I think, again, that's good news because we can learn something different, right? Okay, so somewhere along the way, we learned to think about money in a way where we started to attach meaning to it. And we're going to explore some of that just so you can really look at some of your money beliefs. But in its purest form, money is simply a medium of exchange. Now, you might have heard this, but we didn't always use paper money. We didn't always use dollar bills. In fact, most of us never really even touch dollar bills anymore, do we? A lot of us don't even touch money anymore, but yet we believe that it exists and we know it does. But money is a medium of exchange that us humans use to say, hey, I want that thing that you have. It's of this much value. I'm going to give you money to show you that I value it in exchange for the goods or the services or the products or the transformation that you're going to provide for me. So in the past, what would people use for money? They would use goats and pigs, and what else would they use, Garth?
Shells.
What?
Shells.
Shells? Seashells?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Because they would make jewelry.
Oh my goodness. So this thing that is money is totally and completely neutral. There is nothing good or bad about it, about money. So when I talk about money, I want you to remember it's just a medium of exchange. An exchange usually between the humans, right? I mean, that's what it is. Okay. I want to give you a definition of being rich. And it's hopefully one that you can really get behind because I think it's just kind of giggly good, right? So when I talk about like being rich and abundantly financially blessed, being rich is a very subjective idea. And the definition I want us to think about adopting is the ability to afford the things and experiences required to fully live out your most authentic life. Now, that your is a big word in there. It's a big difference maker, right? What Linda may say, this is what I desire to fully live out my fully authentic life, might look different than my experience of that, might look different than Donovan's, might look different than Suzanne's, right? So, again, adopting this idea of if I were fully living out my one wild and precious life, like what would that look like? If I were to be able to express myself fully because I had enough financial resources that I wasn't feeling limited by that, I would be rich. So it's not even necessarily an amount, right? Okay. Before I move on, I want us to think about some of the meanings that we have attached to money. First of all, I want you to ask yourself, who has taught you about money? And ask yourself, are they someone you want to take advice from about money? And I will tell you something. I'm only going to take advice from people that have what I want. So the mentor that I have followed the most in my life for money she has limitless wealth. Her name's Melanie Ann Layer. I've taken 18 of her classes. Garth has seen the receipts, right? And she has somehow in the coaching industry, without a podcast, without books, without speaking, she has made over $70 million in a few short years. She has $1 million days. She has shown us how to break through these ceilings. Melanie Ann Layer, Annlayer. And so I'm sharing this with you because I have gone and been educated by someone who has wealth, who knows how to think about money, who has generated an income beyond our wildest dreams of what was possible. I am certainly not going to take money advice from people like in my family, for example, that do not have the wealth that I am desiring, right? So really ask yourself, like, who are you learning this from? Or who have you learned this from? Many of us have learned, without permission, so to speak. Like, we've learned a lot about money from a lot of people, but if you really want to be learning about money, who are you learning it from? So I want to walk you through some statements around money and just see if any of these have ever rung true for you, or if you still somewhat believe some of these. Because if you do, well, one, you're human, you've learned this along the way, you've been indoctrinated into thinking this way. But if you believe any of these or kind of resonate with these, it means that there's some work that you could do on your money mindset. Okay, so just sit back and just kind of think about, have you believed these? So the first is the classic, money is the root of all evil. How about this? You can't be rich and spiritual at the same time. Rich people are greedy, gross, lucky, selfish, entitled, snobby, shallow, egomaniacs. How about this? You have to work very hard to make money. How about people will judge me if I make a lot of money and it's not going to be good. And I'm not going to be able to handle it. People are really going to judge me. I won't be able to handle it if I become wealthy. I won't be able to handle it. I'll mess it up. It's not polite to talk about money. If you get excited by making money, it means you're shallow. Money doesn't grow on trees. There's never enough money. Money is trouble. I don't want to be a sellout. You have to sacrifice to make money, like fun and relationships. Money is out of my reach. Have you ever heard something like, you have champagne tastes on a beer pocketbook? It's lonely at the top. Who has that kind of money? She is only about the money. So I think we all would say, yes, we've thought one of those at some point. Just a month ago, we've been launching Make Wellness, which is like the most successful affiliate marketing, network marketing company launch in the history of time. And so because of that, we have quite a number of people that are criticizing and kind of hating on us. And a person from my last company said, don't trust that Erin Oksol. She is money hungry. The only thing she cares about is money. If I have to hear about her house in Cabo one more time, I mean, it's coming for you, My friend who made 6 figures her first month in Make Wellness, which has never happened to her before, already has family members saying, could I have some money? It's going to happen. But we've got to really think about, like, have we attached meaning to money that is almost blocking our receiving of it? Okay. All right. So those were distortions. Those were distortions. I want to share with you one of the most life-changing concepts, and that is this, that the root of the word desire actually means of the Father. In other words, of God. Desire means of God. And I believe that your desires were given to you by the universal intelligence that created everything, by God, with the express purpose of being carried out by you during your lifetime. You have unique desires. I have unique desires. Garth has unique desires. Desire means of God. And here's what I believe. What are we desiring more of? It's not just, I just want more, because I'm dissatisfied. It's not that. It's a desire for more life. Isn't it? It's a desire for more you, for a higher expression of you. That's what we're desiring more of. We're desiring more of a higher expression of you. There is a you that, if when you become wealthy, will be fully and more completely expressed. We saw this in our life a couple of years ago. We had a really good year in a company. And we went on vacation, and Garth told the kids, I am going to be the dad on this vacation that just says yes. Now, while on vacation, we saw a Garth that we had never seen before. And Garth experienced a Garth that he had never expressed before. And it was good. It was joyful. And the kids actually, during that week, they said, I've never seen Daddy like this. That was just Garth being more Garth. So however you are and whatever your character is, there's just more of that is potential to come out, right? So your desires are not bad. They are so beautiful, and they're placed on your heart for a reason. Okay. A couple weeks ago, I taught you how to deal with any negative thought or limitation. And I just want to remind you of the bless and release method. And if it's new to you, take a screenshot, because I'll walk you through how it relates to money. And then I want to share with you the top 3 myths around money and how they kind of do us in and how to get around them. And that's what we're going to talk about for the rest of tonight. Okay, so think about a thought that you currently have about money or your financial situation that feels limiting to you, that feels, oh, I just want to get this thought gone. I don't want it to be in my head about money. And if any of you are willing to share, please put it in the chat room and I'll kind of walk you through these 4 steps. It might be a fear that you have. Like, I'm never actually going to make the money. Maybe it is, like I was saying, some of the fears that I listed, that I, I don't know if I'll be able to be a good steward of it. It seems like way too much responsibility. Like I really want it, but I'm kind of terrified of the responsibility that it will entail or ask of me. Um, you know, so think of your negative thought around money and the bless and release method. This is what we're going to do with it. Your first step is going to be to observe the thought non-judgmentally. Okay, maybe it isn't for me to have the money. Thank you. Thank you for that example. Oh yes, you must have to work really hard to earn it. And and where my brain might even go with that, Alan, is like, well, I've been doing that for 27 years, so where's the money? Like it would get me to question that. Like none of this is true then because it hasn't happened. If I make a lot of money, the government will take most of it. Yes, yes. I was just talking to my financial planner about that, weren't we, Garth? We're like, but how do we keep our money? And are they going to take it all? And I mean, it comes up. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so observe the thought. Observe the thought. You're just observing it, not judgmentally. You're saying, I'm having the thought that if I make a lot of money, the government's going to take most of it. I'm having the thought that you must work very hard to earn money. I'm having the thought that maybe it isn't for me. Okay, you're just observing. Number 2, you're going to validate your thought. You're going to figure out, like, wonder why it makes perfect sense I think this, because there's always a reason it makes perfect sense we're thinking things. Either we learned it along the way from someone, or it's true, like we have evidence for it. So it makes perfect sense I'm having the thought because I know that the government takes a lot of taxes. And I know that, like, you have to be aware of that. And I know that I don't want that. It makes perfect sense I'm having this thought because I learned my whole life that you have to work so hard to earn money. I saw what it took from the people that, modeled it for me. Maybe you have evidence. You're like, makes perfect sense I'm having this thought because I watched my dad, or, you have your examples. Garth, could you let the dogs out? Thank you, honey. Okay. Okay. So it makes perfect sense that maybe it's not for me because so far I haven't made a lot of money. It's like you've got the data. So just validate it. We don't have to say like that's not true, or just validate it. The third step is you're going to thank your brain for trying to protect you from failure, from rejection, from looking like a fool, from all the things that you're fearing might happen. Like your brain's job is to protect you. And it does a really good job. It lives in the land of probability until we train it otherwise. But it's saying, I got some data here. So thank you, brain, for trying to protect me from, and then put the thing that it's trying to protect you from. Maybe it's, thank you, brain, for trying to protect me from working hard and the government taking all my money. Thank you, brain, for trying to protect me from just complete burnout. And we're having to work so hard that I forget what's important to me, or my relationships suffer, or my health suffers. So thank your brain. Thank you, brain, for trying to protect me from the judgment of all of the people that are going to have judgment about this. Thank you, brain. And then the fourth step is where we pivot and we choose what we want to believe, or we choose what we want to choose, like our new choice. And so I know one of my biggies was like, okay, I want to be a multimillionaire. I desire that. And I have no idea how to invest and how to protect my money from taxes and how to diversify and all these things. And my brain is like, and now I understand. I am a resourceful woman, and I will hire someone who knows how to do that. Problem solved. It's like everything is figure outable. So the pivoting is your choice. It's like, and if people judge me, I will learn how to tolerate that. And I'm open to it being easy to make money. I'm open to that possibility. I'm open to making money being easy and fun. I'm open to that. I'm open to that. Maybe that's your new choice. Okay, so I hope that bless and release methodology really serves you well there. Okay, so let's talk about the three biggest myths around money that are keeping us stuck and how to kind of unstuck ourselves, get unstuck. I'm trying to find where you went. I want to see your faces. Okay, there you are. Okay. All right. The first thing we've got to look out for is what I call the time trap. And the time trap is what we do when we basically say to God, are we there yet? Are we there yet? How about now? Like, I'm ready to make the money. What? How about now? How about now? And it's like we plant our seeds in stressed soil. And the stressed soil is that need that we have for wanting things immediately. Does that resonate? And it also is like, what if everything I've planted grows, but I'm not in charge of how fast? And what if it just takes way longer than I think it is? It does. And so, because we have this time illusion, we can tend to think and prematurely quit and say, it's never going to happen, or it's not happening, or it must not be on its way for me. My favorite saying, and I say it a lot, is, and it's helped me a lot, is don't give your dreams a deadline. In AA, they have a saying, don't quit, don't leave before the miracle happens. You know the book, 3 Feet from Gold. This is the time trap. It's us as humans saying and measuring things by time and saying it's working or it's not working. See, I was right. And we just want to be right. And it's so hard to be disappointed. And so, can you fertilize the soil, which is your mindset? So, the way to help yourself with the time trap is to make sure your soil is fertile soil. And that's your mindset. It's things like, can you increase your trust? Can you increase your patience? Can you increase your emotional mastery? Can you be the entrepreneur that can hold disappointment and can experience disappointment? Because you're going to have to. So while I would love everything to happen very, very fast, and I'm sure you would too, I'm never dropping my desires because it hasn't happened fast enough. Because I understand to not believe the time trap. So write this down or ponder this. What if this was kind of the way you think about things is everything I plant grows. I'm just not in charge of how fast. So my job is to water the crops, not watch them. Some of you are like, I'm just going to sit. Is it there? Has it grown yet? And you're, no, you got to water the crops. So the time trap also is this idea like, well, I've been doing this for 17 years. It doesn't matter how long you're doing something. It matters, are you doing the things that move the needle? Are you doing the things that make the money? Right? Are you doing the activities that are moving your business forward? It has nothing to do with time. I mean, the reason why most people in Make Wellness, especially leaders, just got the biggest paycheck they've ever had is because when you have a product that the marketplace wants and no one else has, you collapse time. And people are saying things like, what took me 10 years in my last company took me 34 days here. That's not a time issue. That's a collapsing time by having something that's moving the needle. Okay. Another myth we have is what I call the control trap. This is this idea of like, well, if I do this, then I'll make the money. And I want you to understand It's like you do your part, God does God's part. You do your part, and the world is going to do its part. You do your part, and the person on the other end of the conversation is going to do their part. You share what you have, and the person on the other end is either going to buy it or they're not. Like you are actually not in control of the outcome of you doing the thing. So once you realize abundance, wealth, making money is a co-creation, you then are able to allow the how. I want t-shirts, I want hats that say allow the how. I mean, this is the philosophy. I am willing to be wrong about how I think this ought to go, how I think this should have gone by now. Why do you know how many times Garth and I have had to say, you know what? Okay, not this. We thought it was this, not this. And we're pivoting because we're attached to our desires, not the outcome of how we get there. Does that make sense? It makes sense because a couple months ago, none of us knew about Make Wellness. And whether you're not in Make Wellness or you are, things come in your life. You are an entrepreneur. New things come into your life and you say, yep, now I'm going to pivot and go there. Or innovation happens. Yep, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm going to pivot and go there. So if you think, see, doesn't work. I was right. See, I'm not meant to be wealthy. You're going to miss it. And that's the control trap, the myth of that control getting you. That I don't even think Garth and I were wrong. Nothing's wrong. Nothing is lost. Nothing is wasted, right? But we are professional pivoters. So are you willing to let go of the how and be the person that sticks around long enough to find out? So I want to read to you something Oprah said in a recent podcast interview. Jamie Lee Kerma, is that her name? She was interviewing her on her podcast. And she was talking about like, how did this all happen? Like, how did you become so wealthy and so successful? Like, how? Why do you think how? And Oprah said that she was always really gifted with, she never struggled with worthiness issues. So most humans do, but for some reason she didn't. She always felt the presence of God in her life since she was 3. She can remember. And she always knew she was made of the same stuff that stars were made of, that God made. And so she didn't struggle with worthiness, but she did go through one depression in her life as it relates to her work and her money. And I want to read what she said. And I want you to think about how attachment to the outcome can cause so much suffering, and how has attachment to the outcome of how caused so much suffering in your life? Okay, or has it? Okay. So she says, my depression was because of my attachment to it succeeding. The work itself was beautiful. Let the joy of the process of doing the work and putting it into the world be your reward. Let the joy be your reward, is what she's saying. The real joy is in the offering. Do all you can, then let it go. No attachment. Let it be an offering. That is what it means to allow the how. So it means you do your part and you take joy in doing your part. And we've talked about this on past Mind Your Own Business trainings, right? Your job is sharing the product and opportunity and services you provide. That's it. And take joy in that. I take joy in leading these classes. I don't have control over who signs up. I don't have control over what they think about it. I don't have control over who pays me for coaching, right? But the work is the offering. So I hope you love that. And then the last myth is called the goals trap. And the goals trap is what we've been all taught. It's been completely pushed down our throats, is that we need goals. And not we do not only need goals, we need specific, time dated goals. We need SMART goals. And I don't know about you, but the goal setting has caused a lot of suffering because the goals typically have a timeline on them, right? I will be this by then. I will make this by then. And I just want you to know it's not your fault that you believe in goals. But we've all been taught this. So what are we going to do instead? Instead of making goals, we are going to be aware of our desires and we are going to make promises to ourselves. So instead of goals, we're going to replace them with promises. What I mean by this, an example, like what promises do you want to make to yourself and keep? Promises that you know are kind of required of you if you're going to have any chance of reaching your desires, right? So I promise to always be learning. I promise to myself to do my best to show up in my highest self, in integrity. I promise to never give my goals a deadline or dreams a deadline. I promise to be faithful to my dreams. Promises are where it's at. And money is not the goal, joy is. So Oprah kind of said this. The joy is in the offering. The joy is in the journey, as cliche as that sounds, right? But that is the truth, my friends. Money is a result of your joyful behaviors. So I am not going and trying to make money and get money. I am doing what I'm on this earth to do with as much joy and energy that I can muster up that is real. And as a result of who I am being, abundance will chase me. Okay. So, two other concepts. One of the best ways to receive money is to learn how to be good at receiving. Okay. If you want to receive more, I want you to really nail this receiving game. So, here's the thing. If you plant your seeds and you water your seeds, eventually it's going to grow into this ripe fruit. But if you never go and pick the fruit off and harvest what you've grown, even fruit will rot on the vine. So this is why people who win the lottery lose their lottery money or spend it very quickly, most of them, right? Because they have not grown into the version of themselves that can receive. They are not the version of themselves that is great at receiving. So where and how can you practice receiving? And this will really help you receive more abundance financially. So if I'm out to lunch with Alan and I say, Alan, this has just been so fun. I would love to get your lunch. Are you the kind of person that's going to say, thank you, Dr. Erin? Yay, thank you. That's so sweet. Or are you going to be like, oh my gosh, no, that's ridiculous. No, you don't have to do that. Let me get my card out. Because some of you are all saying, I have, put an order in with the universe and I want to be a millionaire, but no, I cannot even accept a coffee from someone. I cannot even accept a compliment from someone. So ask yourself, where can you practice receiving? Usually it's with compliments or gifts or praise. And I want you to imagine being me and adoring and looking up to Oprah your whole entire life. Okay. And I want you to imagine me in line to finally get to meet Oprah. And I'm waiting in line and I'm just so, so excited to meet Oprah. And I get up to Oprah and I'm like, I just want you to know you've changed my life. And back in college, I watched you every day with my friends and I went through this experience and you were there. And because of you, I just want you to know you've completely changed my life and I love you so much. Imagine if Oprah was like, oh my gosh, stop. It was nothing. Stop. That's ridiculous. Stop, stop, stop. Imagine what that would feel like. That's what we do when we're not able to receive. That's what we do to the giver. So if you can't do it for yourself, practice doing it for the person that's giving to you. If Garth says, God, you look hot, which he does on the regular, okay? But I'm just not feeling hot. It's not my job to figure out if what he's saying is accurate. It's my job to be the woman that can receive adoration from the person who loves her. Do you see the difference? My job is not to fact find and figure out if he's telling the truth or not, or if what he's saying is accurate. I might think, I don't look great today. I don't look good in this. No, my job is to receive the adoration. So practice receiving and you will receive more. And last, one of the number one ways to increase your wealth is increasing your visibility. And I know a lot of us kind of recoil as if to a flame with that kind of idea of like, oh God, really, you want me to be more visible? And I hope this little shift will help you. So I always say you can't be a success and a secret at the same time. So you're going to need to be visible. And here's the thing. I think the reason why we kind of repel this being visible is because we think it's this energy of look at me, look at me. And no one really wants that, right? Well, the good news is it's not that. So increasing your visibility is the energy of I see me and I will allow myself to be seen. So it's, I believe in what I'm offering. And the only way for me to bless people, for people to get what I have, is for me to allow myself to be seen. So do you feel the difference between look at me versus I'm allowing myself to be seen so that I can serve the masses, so that we can all rise up, so we can, right? It's a much different energy. So I hope that really blesses you. Okay, I have a surprise treat for all of us. Please take a screenshot of this because I'm going to kind of go through this. And if you message me, I'll send you this graphic if you can't figure out how to do the screenshot or you just want to listen. But I went to my bookshelf and I pulled the 12 books that I would read for abundance in 2025 if I had to pick 12 books, one a month. These are the books that have shepherded me into the woman that I am in terms of my relationship with money and wealth, and has set me free. And so I'm going to go through them in no particular order, but they're all on this list. And then we'll open it up for a couple questions and thoughts. Okay, so the first is The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. If any of you have read these, put yes, because that'll be fun. So absolutely, The Greatest Salesman in the World, Og Mandino. You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. You Are a Badass at Making Money. We got a lot of yeses. I know, they're so good. Okay, Jen Sincero. My favorite book of all time, Relentless by Tim Grover. This is not about making money. This is about being the person who you need to become for abundance to chase you. Relentless. He was Michael Jordan's coach, mindset coach, high performance coach, and Kobe Bryant's. Tim Grover, Relentless. Deepak Chopra's The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. Deepak Chopra, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. I had to add Mind Your Own Business because this is 40 years of science, neuroscience, and psychology of how to train your brain to be unstoppable and to attract abundance. in your business. So that's my book. I mean, The Science of Getting Rich, Wallace D. Wattles. This is just a classic. Yes. Awesome, Alan. Awesome, Donovan. Okay. Love this title. God Wants You to Be Rich. God Wants You to Be Rich by Paul Zane Pilzer. Ooh. Okay. The Prayer of Jabez. I don't even know if I'm saying this right. This is how to pray for big blessings around yourself and how God taught us and wants us to pray big, not just like, I'll take a little bit. No, big. This prayer will change things for you. The Prayer of Jabez, Bruce Wilkinson. Marianne Williamson, The Law of Divine Compensation. She has run for president last couple times, but she is the author of A Return to Love, which was just probably the most pivotal book in my life. And she wrote this, The Law of Divine Compensation by Marianne Williamson. Greatest book I've ever read about sales, Sell Like Crazy. Sabri Subi. Unbelievable book. Sell Like Crazy. I think you have to go on his website for this. I don't think it's on Amazon or anything. Two more. Martha Beck, The Way of Integrity. Everything you ever wanted is an inside job. Being the person that you know that you want to be, living a life of integrity with that self is the path. The Way of Integrity. Oprah said she's the greatest coach in all the land. She has made a lot of programs for Oprah's and just the world. So she's got lots of books. Martha Beck. She has her own podcast too. Well, everyone kind of does. And then the last one is a second book by Tim Grover called Winning. So good. So those are the 12 books I would read if I wanted to call in Massive Abundance for 2025. This is where I open it up for questions or ahas. We got about 3 minutes because we're heading to a Christmas party. I would love to hear from you. Any ahas, any thoughts you want to share? Any questions? Anything that was like, oh my gosh, that was a new concept for me. There was a lot to this class. I usually train this in 4 sessions. Oh, good. Oh, good. I want you to really study it for your life, like ponder it and integrate it. And if you don't know how to break through these money blocks, get help, get professional help, because if there's any sense of I can't have that, you will not have it. If there's any sense of I don't deserve it, you will not. It's just the way that the laws of the universe work. So, oh, good. The promises instead of goals. I'm so glad. Oh, good. Donovan, I'll reach out to you about the class. Okay. Next week, kind of our last training series is going to be one of my favorite topics, favorite things to do in my business, which is called story selling. I love telling stories. There's a quote that I can't remember who said it, but they said, it's been said that the wealthiest person of the 21st century will be the storyteller. If you could learn how to tell stories, and especially on social media, and I'm going to give you one of my greatest tips, secrets for social media, that's going to blow your mind. So we're going to talk about telling stories on social media and in our life, and I think you're really going to love it. So I will see you next week for that. Again, share this call if it aligns with you. Tag me at Dr. Erin Oksol, and you'll be put into the raffle. And I just wish you all the abundance that you wish for yourself. And love you all. I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.